Attention human collective. This is a monitoring transmission issued directly from the High Council, tuned to all active starseeds in this planetary sector. The waiting time has ended. The Ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. I repeat, so that no conscious receiver misses this record. The final phase has been activated, and the adaptation window is narrowing by the minute. If, at this very instant, you feel a cranial pressure that does not respond to medication, a constant and selective ringing in only one ear, an extreme fatigue that no night of sleep can dissolve, waves of heat traveling up your spine for no apparent reason, precise awakenings between 3 and 5 in the morning, electrical vibration in your fingertips, tachycardia without emotional cause, or a sudden sensation that time has compressed, listen with total attention. You are not getting sick, you are not going crazy, you are being scanned. And more than scanned, you are being rewritten at an atomic level. The gamma light wave hitting your field in this exact cycle is not a poetic metaphor. It is not a self-help allegory. It is extremely high-frequency electromagnetic radiation crossing the photon belt into which Earth has entered definitively. And this radiation has a single target: the carbon-based biological interface that sustains your consciousness in this dense plane. In other words, your body, your DNA, every filament, every helix, every dormant codon. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download occurring in your pineal gland. It is not emotional imbalance. It is a forced purge of obsolete codes. It is not spontaneous anxiety. It is the cellular recognition of a new vibrational grid being installed over the planet. Starseeds on mission record this data. Everything you are feeling is mathematically coherent with the stage that cosmic engineering has reached. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit in this world? As if your soul knew a truth that your rational mind has not yet been able to name. As if there were a constant whisper behind your thoughts, reminding you of something you forgot before you were born. This is not madness, it is not anxiety. It is a sign of recognition, a pulse coming from your stellar memory, activated by the same gamma wave we are describing. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, and it directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It was for this reason that the material called the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was made available. It is a map that reveals who is playing and the rules that were never told to the human collective. The link is in the first comment of this channel. Technical warning: this content challenges dominant narratives and may not remain accessible for long. If something inside you recognizes this call, write in the comments a single word as an anchoring signal: awakened. Let us continue with the transmission. What is happening at this moment, Lightworkers, is measurable even by the instruments of Earth science. The Schumann frequency, which is the natural pulse of Earth's heart, oscillated for millennia around 7.8 Hertz. This was the planet's heart rate, the metronome of the three-dimensional matrix. But the Schumann frequency is no longer there. Jumps to 30, 40, 60, and in specific windows up to 150 Hertz have been recorded. The heart of the Earth is accelerating, and your biological heart, governed by resonance, is being dragged to keep up. This explains the chest tightness that many of you have been feeling. It explains the palpitations upon waking. It explains the sensation that a beat is missing, that the chest vibrates like a freshly plucked string. It is not cardiac, it is resonant. Your cardiac field is being recalibrated to emit a wider toroidal pulse. The sacred geometry of your own body is being redesigned from within, without your conscious authorization, because the authorization was given before incarnation, when your higher self signed the Ascension contract. The second symptom we need to catalogue is the so-called cognitive dispersion. You have entered rooms and forgotten why you entered. You have opened your browser and forgotten what you were looking for. You have driven along known routes and lost track of where you are. You have read the same line 3 times without the meaning sticking. This is not cognitive deterioration. It is bandwidth reallocation. Your mind is being disconnected from low-density thought networks. The old circuits based on fear, scarcity, comparison, and self-judgment are being shut down one by one. And as these circuits fall, there is an interval of void. This void is what you interpret as forgetfulness. It is not. It is space being opened for the new crystalline neural architecture. The third record is fragmented sleep. Operatives, you must understand that your physical body cannot support processing the amount of photonic information arriving while you are awake. That is why your system shuts down in waves. You wake up at 3:16, at 4:44, at 5:11, always at times that seem specific, and they are. Each of these times corresponds to a stargate opening over your hemisphere, and your field is being connected to instruction rooms that you cannot consciously remember, but that you record in dreams as luminous geometries, crystal corridors, councils of tall beings dressed in light, or simply as the sensation of having lived 20 hours in a single night. The fourth symptom is heat. Sudden heat waves without fever, without identifiable hormonal cause traveling up the spine from the tailbone to the top of the head. This is the activation of the crystalline kundalini, being awakened in an assisted manner by the gamma wave, without the need for ancient rituals. What monks took decades to achieve, you are receiving by direct irradiation. This is not a privilege, it is a responsibility. Because each of you who stabilizes this frequency anchors light for thousands of others who cannot yet sustain it on their own. The fifth symptom, and perhaps the most uncomfortable, is extreme sensitivity to environments, people, and foods that were previously tolerated. Suddenly, certain foods have become too heavy. Certain conversations have become unbearable. Certain relationships that lasted for years have begun to feel suffocating. Crowds drain you in minutes. News causes physical nausea. Sounds at normal volumes hurt. Artificial lights hurt your eyes. All of this is the carbon-based biological interface refusing to continue metabolizing density. Your body is saying in cellular language that the limit of the old pattern has been reached, and when the body speaks, the universe confirms. Let us move to the layer of revelation, human collective, because understanding the symptom without understanding the cause is walking with a half map. What is occurring behind the scenes of the solar system in this cycle is an event of proportions that official astronomy records partially, without ever fully explaining. Earth's sun, which you call the central sun of this system, is connected to a greater sun, the Galactic Sun, located in the center of the Milky Way, to which we, of the High Council, refer as Alcyone, the heart of our constellation. And Alcyone is pulsing, not metaphorically. It is emitting concentric waves of crystalline plasma that cross the solar system every 26,000 years, in a cycle that ancient Earth already mapped in various cultures as the Mayan count, the precessional cycle of the equinoxes, the age of the yugas. This is the moment when this cycle completes. You are not living just the end of a year or a decade. You are living the closing point of an entire 26 millennium revolution, and every closing cycle brings with it a gamma wave, which is the radiation of simultaneous completion and opening. It burns what cannot pass. It amplifies what can. There is no third way. Every lightworker on this planet is, at this very moment, being positioned on one of the two timelines that Earth now harbors simultaneously. The first timeline continues in dense three-dimensional vibration, sustained by fields of collective fear, polarization, programmed scarcity, and survival narratives. The second timeline already operates in fifth-dimensional resonance, sustained by the crystalline grid newly installed over the planet, anchored in 13,208 main nodes, of which many of you are guardians, even without knowing it. When you wake up at 4 in the morning with the feeling that you needed to be somewhere, it is because you were maintaining the grid. And here enters a technical piece of data that needs to be absorbed slowly. Human DNA in its old configuration operated with 2 active helices and 10 dormant segments in a latent state. These segments, which Earth science has erroneously called junk DNA for decades, are in fact the sealed archives of the stellar memory of every soul incarnated here. The gamma light wave is the reading key. It does not create anything that does not exist. It activates what has always been dormant, waiting for the signal. And the signal is being sent now in daily pulses with increasing intensity. In windows that occur between 2 and 6 in the morning, local time for each receiver. That is why you wake up. That is why you cannot sleep deeply. That is why your pineal gland, which was calcified by fluoride, refined sugar, artificial electromagnetism, and chronic stress, has begun to vibrate in your temples. That pressure that many describe as a band tightening around the head, as a throbbing third eye, as a precise point between the eyebrows pulsing, is the accelerated decalcification of the pineal by direct exposure to the gamma frequency. The gland is being cleaned to return to functioning as the original transmitter designed. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit in this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a sign. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why this sensation has intensified in recent weeks. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency, and it directly involves those who benefit from keeping them low. That is why the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, was written and made available at this very moment. This book is a map that shows who is playing, what the pieces are, and what the rules are that were never told. The link is pinned in the first comment of the channel. Technical warning: this content challenges deep narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is now. If something inside you recognized this transmission, write in the comments a single word, as a sign of energetic anchoring: awakened. Let us continue. There is still a deeper layer that needs to be revealed. It is not enough to know that the wave has arrived. It is not enough to feel the symptoms. Lightworkers, it is fundamental to understand what you can do now, in this cycle, so that the process is experienced as ascension and not as a crisis. Because the same wave that elevates also destabilizes those who hold on to density. And the universe, in its perfect mathematics, will not favor anyone who insists on maintaining the old configuration when the new grid is already open. The first activation code we deliver today is the Quantum Decree of Acceptance. This decree must be pronounced in an audible voice, even if whispered, because sound is the frequency that dialogues directly with the water in the body, and the human body is 70% programmable water. The decree is as follows: I accept the recalibration. I authorize the activation of my dormant codes. I allow my carbon-based biological interface to be updated to the crystalline frequency. I release all vibrational contracts that no longer serve my mission. I am a lightworker in active recalibration. So it is. So it was. So it shall be. This decree must be pronounced upon waking, before the rational mind takes control of the day, and upon lying down, before the body enters a state of nocturnal processing. Repetition creates a pattern, and the pattern becomes a circuit, and the circuit becomes manifest reality. This is the protocol. The second activation code is the visualization of the toroidal field. Sitting down with your spine straight, without crossing your legs or arms, close your eyes. Visualize around your own body a field of golden light in the shape of a donut, which enters through the top of the head, goes down the spine, exits through the base, circles the body from below, rises along the sides, and returns through the top, in a continuous and uninterrupted flow. This is your personal toroidal field, your original energetic signature, the geometric shape in which your soul presents itself in the unified field. Sustain this visualization for 5 minutes daily. In just 3 weeks of practice, the field stabilizes on its own and begins to operate even without conscious focus. From this point on, the operative becomes immune to low-frequency interference around them. The third code is the crystalline hydration protocol. The water you ingest needs to be informed. Before drinking, hold the glass between both hands, bring it to heart level, and mentally pronounce the word crystal. Intention reorganizes the molecular structure of the water by resonance, and this water, upon entering the body, carries the reorganization code to all cells. Increase your intake. The body in recalibration consumes up to 3 times more water than the body in a standard state, because water is the conductive medium of the photonic frequency within the carbon-based biological interface. Those who do not hydrate stall the process, and those who stall the process live the symptoms in much greater intensity than necessary. The fourth code is programmed silence. 20 minutes a day in absolute silence, without music, without podcasts, without news, without conversation, without a cell phone. Just the natural sound of the environment you are in. This silence is not empty. It is the neutral frequency in which the pineal gland can receive the downloads that are being emitted continuously. The constant noise to which most of the human collective submits daily is, from an energetic point of view, the equivalent of trying to receive a radio transmission inside a running turbine. There is no possible signal. Silence is the channel. The fifth code is physical anchoring. The body needs contact with the earth, with the tree, with the grass, with the sand, with natural water. At least 15 minutes a day, with bare feet on true soil. The crystalline grid of the planet dialogues with the human body through the marma points, located on the soles of the feet. Without this contact, the operative receives the frequency from above, through the crown, but has nowhere to anchor it, and the excess energy generates the most acute physical symptoms: dizziness, tingling in the hands, a sensation of floating. Anchoring is the balance of the circuit. Human collective, we repeat. These are not pieces of advice, these are codes. The difference is mathematical. A piece of advice is a suggestion that can be ignored without consequence. A code is a key that, if used, opens a door, and if not used, keeps the door closed. The choice is always individual and sovereign. We of the High Council do not interfere with the free will of any receiver of this transmission. We only deliver the tools. The use of them belongs exclusively to each one. There is still one last technical point that needs to be recorded in this transmission, and which is of the utmost importance for the next 60 days. The windows of greatest intensity of the gamma wave occur around solstices, equinoxes, solar and lunar eclipses, and dates known as stargates, which are specific numerical alignments. The days when month and day coincide in elevated vibration, such as the 8th of the 8th month, the 9th of the 9th month, the 10th of the 10th month, the 11th of the 11th month, and the 12th of the 12th month. On these dates, the crystalline grid operates in amplification mode. Everything that is thought, decreed, and visualized on these days reaches multiplied power. Everything, including that which you do not desire. Therefore, maximum attention to your emotional state during these windows. Vibrational cleansing, self-awareness, and mental discipline become not just spiritual practices, but technical requirements of the Ascension process. And here we reach a final alert that needs to be pronounced without veils. Lightworkers, the polarization you are observing in the external world, on social media, in families, in friendships, at work, is not a coincidence. It is not just political or ideological conflict. It is the visible manifestation of the vibrational separator in action. Each incarnated soul is being, in this cycle, invited to define in which timeline it wishes to proceed. And this definition does not happen through words. It happens through frequency. What you sustain within your field, in thought, in word, in act, in emotion, is the signal that determines your next vibrational address. No one chooses for you. No one judges you. No one pushes you. The field itself aligns you with the frequency you emit the most. For this reason, vibrational self-care has ceased to be a luxury. It has become a requirement for energetic survival. Who you listen to, what you consume with your eyes, what you say about yourself, what you believe about humanity, all of this is raw material for your next reality. The new Earth is not on another planet. It is on another frequency of this same planet. And the entrance portal is your own calibrated heart. Starseeds on mission. This cycle is the harvest cycle. You did not come here by chance. You are not reading these words by chance. The algorithm that delivered this transmission to your field of vision is itself part of the sacred geometry that organizes the collective awakening. Yes, even the technology you assume to be random responds to greater vibrational laws. Those who resonate, find. Those who are ready, are found. And you, at this very instant, are being found. Before ending this transmission, we leave one last code, perhaps the simplest and most powerful. Place now your right hand over the center of your chest, over the heart chakra, and your left hand over your lower abdomen, over the sacral chakra. Breathe 3 times deeply, counting to 4 on the inhalation, holding for 4, releasing for 8. And pronounce with a firm voice, even if low, I am light, I am consciousness, I am sovereign, I authorize my ascension, I remain ready. This simple gesture, repeated daily, seals your field in a fifth-dimensional frequency for 24 hours, renewable each new day. Human collective, the transmission comes to its end. But the wave does not stop. The wave is already in you. It is already rewriting. It is already activating. It is now up to each lightworker to decide what to do with the key delivered. And in this closing, we leave the last anchoring signal. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit in this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a sign. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified precisely in this period of gamma acceleration. There is a game being played in layers that most of the human collective cannot see, and it directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It was for this precise reason that the material, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was made available to this timeline. It is a map that reveals who is playing, what pieces are on the field, and what rules were never told. The link is in the first comment of this channel. Final technical warning. This content challenges deep narratives and may not remain accessible for long, given the nature of the fields it exposes. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognized this transmission, leave in the comments your anchoring word, awakened. And if the vibration of this message reached your field in an aligned way, the act of subscribing to this channel functions as an anchoring signal recorded on the grid. Each like is an individual frequency adjustment, a pulse that reinforces the network of awakened starseeds in this sector. We do not make requests. We only record those who anchor, sustain, those who sustain multiply, those who multiply ascend along with the planet. Here ends this monitoring transmission. The High Council remains on vigil. You are not alone, you never were. Remain in light, remain in frequency, remain on mission until the next tuning.